In the last lesson, we talked about retention, making your stream easy to stay in when someone actually finds it and clicks in. Now we're going to focus in on about engagement. I want to be clear about this, okay? This lesson is not about being louder. It's not about being on all the time. It's just about engaging in a way that you can sustain every single day long term. A lot of streamers think engagement means constantly talking, but we talked about this. I do want you to talk as much as you can, but there are natural pause points, and that's okay. It's not about constantly making the biggest reactions, right? I told you not every moment's clippable. Not every moment is passionate. Some clips that are very funny aren't super energetic. They're just funny because the actual content that's being talked about is funny. You don't need that constant, everything is hype, right? You want the engagement to be consistent. You want to make sure you're paying attention to your chatters. It's about your presence, being present in the stream. So people can feel when you're enjoying yourself. They can feel when you're having a good time, and that increases that concept of energy, right? So you don't have to be, oh my God, I'm on all the time and I'm super hype, and some people are like that, but that's not what I mean. When sometimes you can give off the presence of high energy because you're excited about being there, about the game that you're playing, about the content that you're creating. They can also feel when somebody's forcing it. They can feel when something doesn't feel authentic or genuine. And I've seen a lot of people comment about this in the YouTube videos. That's why I try to say be the person that you can be all the time. People can kind of feel when something is too much of a show. They want that authentic connection. And when you're forcing things, it's not just exhausting for your audience, it's exhausting for you. And that's what can cause burnout and cause you to make you want to stop. So if the way that you engage is only at 110 capacity and you can't do that every single time, then it's not sustainable. And if it's not sustainable, you'll quit. You will. It'll happen. So you want to figure out ways that you can be constantly engaging that work with you as an individual. So I honestly do believe that teaching while you're playing or narrating while you're playing is extremely easy. It's one of the easier things to engage with for newer streamers. I still consistently do it. Again, so when I'm speaking of narrating, okay, I'm doing X, I'm doing Y, but then you can also make it a teaching moment. Why are you doing X? Why are you doing Y? What do you expect from this action? What outcome are you looking for? And that will help you with when your chat is quiet, when you have a lot of lurkers. People are multitasking, they're just listening in, but that doesn't mean that you cannot be engaging. You need to find ways that you can engage constantly that work with your energy level and your personality. You just need to be constantly aware of hey, I'm pretty quiet for a minute. Let me just get this quick low-hanging thing. Let's just talk about what I'm doing. Okay, I'm ganking mid right now. I'm ganking mid because X, Y, and Z, right? Keep that in mind. These are the reasons why building a persona that isn't authentic to you could be dangerous long term. So if your audience only likes you when you're at 110%, because that's the persona that you built is at that 110% level, then you're setting yourself up to fail. So now when you're not at the 110% and that's what your viewers are expecting, then they're okay, let's just say for instance, they're okay, now this is boring, I want to leave. Or this isn't what I thought, I'm going to leave, right? So be the person that you can be all the time. And then you'll get the people to watch you that want to watch that person all the time. They don't always need the most exciting version of you. So, but if you create a persona where you're just, oh my God, talking at 1,000,000 miles per second, constantly yelling, constantly screaming, and that's not really who you are, and for the most part you can't keep up with that, then those people that are kind of looking for those type of content creators, they're gonna naturally leave, and you're gonna feel discouraged when your numbers go down, even though that's just the natural order of things. You need to be able to be who you are so you can find those people that meet you at that space. Engagement is a two-way street. It's not just talking, it's also listening. Notice chat patterns. Respond to your chatters. Sometimes you need to create the engagement. Sometimes they're talking to you and they're kind of creating the way for you to engage. And you should, take them up on that. Make sure you're interested in the conversations. To a point, like I said, they will have their natural conversations to the side. That's okay. But when they are trying to engage with you, engage back. Sometimes the conversations die out and that's okay. You can switch back to your narrating, to your teaching moments, okay? That's naturally going to be this natural back and forth when you get to a certain number of viewers that are chatting. You don't have to apologize for quiet moments. You know, I feel like bringing it up is actually worse than just letting it breathe. If you notice that it's been quiet, don't be like, oh my God, it's been so quiet. Just start talking, right? You recognized it. Now go ahead and do something to make that no longer a quiet space. But don't say, oh my God, I'm sorry, it's been so quiet, guys. Because it's like I said, negativity happens, but don't hark on yourself, right? Don't be super demoralizing to yourself. I'll do that sometimes, like, oh my God, I suck so bad, like I'm having a bad game. And I think that's okay, like having one-offs, but constantly apologizing, constantly like, oh, I'm so sorry that I didn't do X, Y, or Z. Like, just keep those internalized and you write them down. Maybe like for your next stream, like your goal could be like, hey, like you kind of say this like 10 times a day. Maybe I'll just say this 3 times until you can like wean it out. Right? So these should be little call outs for you internally, like an internal document for things that kind of need to be changed. And you're also kind of putting pressure on your audience in this way, because now it's kind of like, oh, you've been quiet, but also because it is quiet because nobody's chatting, right? There's these little nuances that builds on complexity, and you know, we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's okay for there to be some silence. There's natural pauses like we mentioned, but do your best to talk as much as you can. Be a little, talky goosey. I don't know.